What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV back here for an announcement video for you guys today. As announced at 8 o'clock last night, I think it was, Dejan Kulusevski is now officially a Tottenham player until 2028. A few of the publications were getting to grips with it last night, but actually it was Spurs that was the first ones to break it. Funnily enough, they did that tweet saying, gimme, 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 and then everyone else started to chime in. Romano tweeted saying, documents signed, deal completed. Dejan Kulusevski becomes a Tottenham player on a permanent deal from Juventus for €13 million fee. And then it came to light, the kind of nitty-gritty of the deal, and Spurs will pay €30 million over the space of 6 years for Dejan Kulusevski, and that was according to the Juventus official statement. And then Spurs did a statement on their website as well, didn't they? So let's go through that, and then we'll get our reactions to it.
Yeah, so here is the statement from Spurs official. Yesterday, we are delighted to announce the permanent signing of Dejan Kulusevski from Juventus after joining the club from the Serie A side in January 2022 on an initial 18-month loan. The Sweden international has signed a contract that will run until 2028. An exciting, versatile forward. Dejan made an outstanding impact on his first start for the club, scoring a goal, registering an assist in a memorable 3-2 victory at Man City in February. He carried on his fine form throughout the second half of the 21-22 season, playing an integral part in the club's qualification into last season's Champions League. The 23-year-old made 37 appearances last term, taking his tally up to 57 appearances, 7 goals in all competitions. In his debut campaign, he became the first player in Premier League history to end the season in the top 10 assists after making less than 20 appearances at international level for his country. Today, scoring twice. He has made 29 appearances for his country to date, scoring twice in December 2022. He earned recognition for a standout first year in the Premier League by being awarded the 2022 Guldbollen, the prize for Sweden's best male player. So that's the statement read for the signing of Dejan Kulusevski. And there's also Ali Gold. I was seeing some of his tweets yesterday, and he said that Juventus, in their statement, claimed that Spurs actually activate some. I don't know how it works, but said Spurs activated the buy option, even though it didn't seem to reach what the figure was. But it says Spurs have activated the buy option, and the fee is payable over 6 years. 6 years.
Yeah, so I think Juventus weren't allowed to negotiate with any other club until the buy option was expired, and that was going to happen in about a week and a half or a week's time from now. So I guess what he means by triggering the buy option, he means that we've basically negotiated with Juventus before that date has ended. I'm guessing that's what he means.
Yeah, that's probably a good explanation.
So, I mean, look, it's a great deal, in my opinion. We give a lot of slack to Daniel Levy and the Spurs hierarchy on this channel time and time again, but I think it's only right to commend when they've done something good, and I think this is a brilliant deal. For someone like Dejan Kulusevski, at the age he's at, when he first came into the Premier League, he burst onto the scene. No one got 10 assists quicker than him in 20 games, and he's had a poor season this year. And I think people forget how good he actually was in those first 6 months for Tottenham.
I also think it's been completely overstated how poor he was last season. Yes, he had his struggles, but I wouldn't go as far to say he was terrible the whole season like a lot of people are making out. There were still a lot of good performances, even in his bad performances. And there was a lot of good things to see from Kulusevski as well. And I think it's been completely overblown how bad he was last season. I don't think he was as bad as everyone's making out, albeit when you compare his first 6 months to last season, there was quite a significant drop-off. But I don't think that last season was as disastrous as a lot of people were saying. But I think at £26 million, at 23 years of age, for a right winger who likes to cut inside, there isn't too many of high quality at the moment left-footed right wingers around in Europe. I think he's shown his quality not only for Tottenham, which we've seen with our own eyes, in Serie A for Parma as well. He was absolutely brilliant. He had his moments at Juventus as well. So I think 26 million is in this current market is an absolutely fantastic deal. I think Levy's done really well to get the price down. I wonder why Juventus accepted 5 million cheaper. Maybe it's more money up front, but then they say it's payable over 6 years. So I don't see how it would be more money up front if they're going to kind of stretch that kind of fee over that. Maybe they're just maybe they're worried that if maybe they're somehow worried if they don't lower the fee, we won't sign him, and then maybe they're going to worry about getting a fee there. But I would have thought that another team would come in for 35 million euros. So I'm just trying to think of it from Juventus' point of view. Why would they accept the lower fee? I can't really figure out why, but they have done. And Levy's done really well to negotiate that.
I was reading last night about it, and apparently Juventus were heavily relying on Champions League money coming through this year, and obviously that didn't happen with all the charges against them and everything like that. They're in the Conference League, but they needed to make up that money some way, and I thought maybe they thought by haggling with Tottenham even more, that runs the risk of not getting any money with him whatsoever. But I thought it was an amazing deal, and I thought potentially anyone could have come in and spent maybe 30, 40 million on Dejan Kulusevski. With his age and his quality, I think he comes into Spurs and now he's automatically worth between the 40 and 50 million pound mark.
Yeah, 100%. If a team wants to come and buy him from Tottenham, you're automatically talking about 50 million immediately. And like a team like Newcastle, for example, who I know are quite reliant on like Almiron on the right wing, but like if they wanted to sign Kulusevski, they would have easily stumped up 35 million, in my opinion. That would have been a no-brainer for a team like them. So I really believe that Juventus maybe it was Kulusevski himself. Maybe he was just saying to him, look, I really want to go there. I'm not going anywhere else. So you better accept whatever they're offering or something like that. Maybe he kind of forced their hand a bit, and maybe that's part of it. But I'm super excited to see how he's going to perform under Postecoglou. There's going to be a bit of a question mark as to what his position is going to be. Is it going to be the more wider winger kind of position, or is he going to be tucked in a bit in one of the where the number 8 kind of goes? Maybe one of the midfielders will drop back a bit centrally. It's going to be interesting to see how he uses him. I do think he will 100% thrive for Postecoglou. I think that having players around him, especially in the forward areas, I feel like a lot of the time under Conte, first of all, he was stuck in deeper positions because we're always counter-attacking. And secondly, I always felt like he very rarely had the ball with lots of players around him. I felt like a lot of the time he was isolated and he had to do a lot of work by himself, try and beat players by himself, 2 or 3 players. And actually, I thought a lot of the time he was quite successful in getting around 1 or 2 players, but then ultimately had too much to do. I think that's a consequence of some of the tactics that Conte had. So I'm excited to see how he's going to be in maybe a more possession-based system with more players around him, more options to pick from. And we know when Kulusevski has options around him, he can be very good in the final third. So I'm super excited to see him under Postecoglou.
Yeah, I mean, there was a narrative around Kulu this year saying, he's a one-trick pony, he's been found out in the Premier League and all this kind of stuff fans were coming out with. But, I mean, I don't buy that at all, because when I see him on the pitch, as you mentioned, he was more than good enough to take it past his man 2 or 3 times in a game. It was just his final third, his end product, where he was shooting and his passing was a bit off. And that's not a consequence of being found out. If you're found out, you wouldn't be able to take it past those players, before you get that end product. So there was something off about his end product, but that's going to come back. That's always going to come back with Dejan Kulusevski, with the quality that he does have. So I'm really not worried about him having a poor season. I think he's going to absolutely flourish under Ange. And I've got a feeling he might play more of the inside role under Postecoglou than he will out wide. But we've got some nice options now on that right-hand side. Pedro Porro, Dejan Kulusevski. Do you think we'll look to bring one more in that on the right side?
I'd like to think that we will, because I think I wouldn't want to see Porro as a winger as much as he's good in the final third. I'd rather I wouldn't mind him in that furthest position, as long as we're seeing him more as a right back, in my opinion. I don't see him as a natural winger. So I would like to see another option there. Maybe someone who's more of a natural right winger with a bit more pace, just so we have a bit of a versatility. But I think at the moment that you got to put that to the bottom of our priorities, unfortunately. And I would like to see us bring another winger in this summer, but I think we got to get the defenders in first, and then if there's time to bring in a winger later in the window, I think we got to look at that. But I just think at the moment we got to go with what we have for the time being, and try and our best to get those centre backs in.
So there you have it. Dejan Kulusevski is a Tottenham player until 2028. Well, that's when his contract runs out to. So I think all in all, it's a very good deal in terms of everything involved, pretty much the monetary terms, the quality of the player. Spurs have also tied down a youth talent, Mikey Moore, as well, which has been very much spoken. I don't know if you spoke about it on the update yesterday, but
Yeah, we did.
Romano, Ornstein, everyone talking about it, and this guy looks like a top talent. But we've kind of spoken in the same ilk about kind of like Troy Parrott and Dane Scarlett at times as well. So he is only 15, so hold your horses, people.
Exactly. Look, he might be. I think Dortmund, Madrid, Bayern. They said we're all after him, but look, players develop from 15 to 18. Like, just because you're good at 15 doesn't mean you're going to turn out to be as good at 18. So it is important to be patient, but I'm glad that we're able to convince him to stay, because I think there was a drive about Tottenham wanting to be more competitive in terms of offering wages to younger players so they stay. So maybe this is the first step in doing that.
Yeah, looks like it. And it looks like there's been a lot of movement within the academy over the last week or so. So maybe that's Ange putting his foot down and really trying to do something with the academy and move the academy forward, because it's kind of one of the first tasks on everyone's lips at the moment. Daniel Levy's been speaking about it. Ange spoke about it. And I think the academy manager, or the guy that was leading the whole process, just left to join the FA. So maybe they're working him post-life. So look, good news on that front. Good news on the Kulusevski front. Next up, hopefully, is David Raya, which we'll be speaking about this week if he does get signed, sealed, and delivered. He came out with some interesting quotes as well during the week, during the weekend. So we'll see how that one plays out. But thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.